facebook.com/Bonita Radio y en Twitter, Bonita-Radio.
Las expresiones vertidas en el siguiente programa no representan necesariamente la opinión de Bonita Radio. Las opiniones son exclusivas de sus autores.
Orgulloso yo me siento de mi música y cultura cada día más.
Orgulloso yo me siento de mi música y cultura cada día más.
Ay, cuando bailo para verle mi forma de bailar, el orgullo que yo siento por mi bomba está brutal.
Orgulloso yo me siento de mi música y cultura.
Estamos en una nueva edición del programa RePicando, que se transmite todos los sábados de 3 a 4 de la tarde a través de Bonita Radio. Y recuerde que somos Bonita Radio en Puerto Rico
Y en el mundo,
y que usted nos puede seguir a través de
bonitaradio.net o en YouTube Bonita Radio.
Como el compromiso de RePicando siempre ha sido estar en conexión con esos afrodescendientes, ¿verdad? Haciendo que el tambor repique en diferentes espacios. Hoy tenemos a una pareja de invitados muy, muy interesante. Y nos referimos ¿a quién?
A Mercy y Mathew Mcgee.
Bueno, que lo disfruten.
All right, okay. So let's start with Oh Mama. Oh Mama is a song about mothers. It's a song about what mothers do for us. It's a song about what mothers have taught us. It's a song about all the good times we've had with our mothers. And Oh Mama honors mothers all around the world. And when I perform that song, I tell people, if you're a mother, this is for you. It's the lyrics written in Swahili. Translation will be coming up as soon as it's copyrighted. But the message is there. It's about, Mom, I laughed with you. I cooked with you. I went to farm with you. Mama, it's you. It's you. Mama, it's you who have taught me everything that I know today. So that's for Mama. Oh, and then Sinamali, do you want me to go on to Sinamali? All right. Sinamali, which means I have no wealth. Written in Swahili and English together, Sinamali talks about everyday struggles. The message on the faces is very clear because it's in English and it really is for everybody. It talks about, I have no wealth, I have no wealth. But I do know that for sure, here and there can fill up a pot. But the message is very, very strong. The message is very, very real, not just in America, also in Africa. And because the message is drawn from an African proverb, it will come across to the Africans very well. We understand the proverb very well, which says, Haba na haba, hujaza kibaba.
Little by little gets it all done. Little by little.
So don't stop. Just keep trying. The rest of the messages in the song is very, very clear. Very, very clear.
Oh mama, oh mama, oh mama, oh
Cultureate.
La cultura del mundo tiene su espacio en la red.
Escucha las múltiples voces de la diversidad.
Entérate de lo que no sabías y cuéntanos lo que no sabemos.
Una revista cool y cultural.
Cultureate. Todos los jueves a las 5 de la tarde por Bonita Radio.
En línea con tu mundo. Ecos e Iconos es un espacio de amenas entrevistas. Hacemos un retrato radiofónico a los exponentes del teatro, la danza, el cine, la radio, la televisión, el performance e internet. Conversamos y a la vez documentamos de dónde surge una idea, su desarrollo, trascendencia y relevancia. Escuche a los Ecos e Iconos de la cultura todos los sábados a las 2 de la tarde por bonitaradio.net.
Nisikilizeni, nakwambia nisikilizeni. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Lakini ninajua. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Tunataka kula vizuri. Tunataka maisha mazuri. Tunataka nyumba nzuri. Tunataka kwenda shule. Kila mtu anataka mali. Here I am on the street. My heart is on my sleeves. Those devils in my life. No matter how I try. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Lakini ninajua. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Tunataka kulea watoto vizuri. Tunataka nguo nzuri. Tunataka upendo moyoni wetu. Tunataka amani kwa familia yetu. Kila mtu anataka mali. Some people get it fast, while others get it last. For me, I wonder why I struggle all my life. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Lakini ninajua. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Kila mtu anasema hakuna pesa. Kila mtu anasema anafanya kazi lakini hakuna pesa. Kila mtu analia hakuna pesa. Kila mtu anafanya kazi kwa gumu lakini hakuna pesa. Lakini unajua, hapa na hapa hujaza kibaba. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Lakini ninajua. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Sina mali, sina mali, sina mali. Lakini ninajua. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Habana haba ujaza kibaba. Habana haba ujaza kibaba.
de Letras es
un espacio protagonizado por la palabra escrita. Aquí disfrutarás de entrevistas a personas para quienes la palabra es el oficio. Gente que escribe desde sus pasiones, obsesiones, ideas, sueños, realidades y amores.
de Letras, todos los jueves a las 6 de la tarde por Bonita Radio, en línea con tu mundo.
Soy el licenciado José Ariel Nazario y les invito todos los miércoles a las 10 de la mañana a escuchar el análisis legislativo único, política, sociedad, economía y temas de actualidad de nuestra realidad puertorriqueña. Recuerde, la previa, todos los miércoles a las 10 de la mañana por Bonita Radio, en línea con tu mundo.
Well, let me start by saying my name again. Mathew Mcgee, aka Shiro, which is my pet name, which everybody knows me by that name back home where I grew up. I was born in Kenya, the slopes of Mount Kenya, in a small town called Kandara, which is not very much known on the map, but it was a fort during the colonial days. And I went to school there all my life, and then when I got into college, I moved to Nairobi and went down to Western Kenya around the Lake Victoria when I did some college, and then I went back to Nairobi again and was there for a while, and then eventually I met my husband, Mathew Mcgee, who is sitting here with me, Matt Mcgee, and I moved to America. And I have been I've been doing music here in America for, I would say, a good almost over 8 years now. I was in a percussion group known as Planet Percussion, and I was the dance choreographer for that for a couple of years. And that was before my director passed away, and when he passed away, I wanted to keep music alive and continue with it, so I teamed up with my husband, who has a lot of music experience. He traveled with a top 40 band during his heydays. But I'll let him talk about that.
These are my heydays.
And so we
my peak now.
Yeah, so, well, he says he's at his peak right now. So we decided to keep the music going and carry on that mission of educating people about African music and the African beat and sending positive messages to the world. So we put together the band together and tried to choose a name. We tried different names. We tried Ulimwengu, which means the world. We wanted to be a world group. And then that was really hard for people to say. They kept saying Ulimwengu, and they could say it. So
we changed to Mazigazi, which means illusion. So, and it's also a family band. We got our daughter involved, our oldest daughter involved. She plays the keyboard. Her boyfriend plays guitar with us, and a few other people play with us too. So it's a real community thing, family thing.
Yeah, so we draw our strength of our own experiences and the environment around us. So, and my husband and I write the music together. You know, we write the music when we are cooking, when we are driving, you know, when we are cycling, you know. It's a constant writing music together. And then we bring it to the band.
It's easier than starting fights or anything like that.
There we go.
It's one of those things where the family that plays together breaks up. Stays together. The family plays together, stays. Well, like Shira says, we write song "Her and I Together," and she'll have something in mind, and she knows the Swahili, of course, so she puts the words down first, and then she takes it to me, and we come up with the music on guitar very simply. And because it's African music, it's kind of like 3 chords, or maybe a little bit more than that, and some pretty not basic, but some pretty rudimentary beats. So we get that going on the guitar, and then the songs start taking shape. We take these songs to the band, and more stuff starts to happen. So it basically, the things we do get put together, through that process of bringing it to other people. And then, when we go out and play things too, it's going to transform even more, either while we're playing or we learn something when we're out there doing it. And so we change the songs as time goes on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and most of the songwriting, when things come to my mind, like for example, the song Pinamale is drawn from my own experiences, because I have worked really hard. I'm going to a second master's degree. I'm heading for a PhD, but I still feel like I have nothing, and I still feel like I don't have anything. My husband teaches every day, works really hard, and do we struggle to pay bills? Do we struggle to feed kids? Yes, we do. So those things influence, those things influence the way I look at the world. And then I say, well, maybe this is what writing about, because I think I'm not the only one, And then our first single, Oh Mama, it's drawn from family social interaction with our parents. I lost both my parents. Mathew lost his mom. But I think everybody would say something about their mother. They'll say something very special about their mother. Mm-hmm. Your mom teaches you probably the first time you smile, your mom is right there with you. So the music is written from real experiences, and so most of the time it's something that I'm really thinking about, that I'm writing about.
Well, what we want to be able to do is get the music out there like every other band wants to. Our message just when we're playing, and I guess when we're putting out this record too, is to get people involved. And if you hear something, not just in our music, but any music, hey, get into it. So when we're out there playing, that's what we want to see from people. They're getting into it, they're shaking it, they're doing what they need to do to express themselves. You could say there's a message in the rhythms that come across in our music, and that's great. That's where it should be. But that's what should come real naturally. If they hear music, they want to start moving, they want to start singing, they want to start participating, right? So that's a real fundamental thing through what we're doing, and a real basic thing to African music. The bigger message maybe that you'll hear in the lyrics and all that we want to come across to people is that we write about daily life, or about kind of our experiences, and like in the 2 tunes that we gave you, it's like Shiro was saying, the message there should be that the messages there should be ones you can identify with. We don't want to talk about things that are beyond us, because if they don't make sense to us, they won't make sense to others who might be a part of our music too.
Yeah, and again, like you said, we try to focus on real things that are affecting citizens today. And we really do think globally. We don't just think the Western life here. We think, we write music, like I said, on my Facebook, or like I said on our blog, on our bio, that we write with a global spirit, which is very true. We think about the environment. I am an environmentalist. I am an activist for climate change. And so my messages are usually around climate change, and not just for America. It's for the global community, and, when we write about music, about war, what would you like to see happen there? You don't want any war. So we write a song about war and we focus on that and try to get that message across, but at the same time, try to have people have fun with it, So these strong messages about children, about the world, but we try to drive that same message with a band who totally agree with us that those are the messages that we should focus on. And I think it's worth to say that in our band, because we have young people playing with us, we are very conscious about the languages that we use. We are trying to make an influence on our daughter and her boyfriend and the younger people as well. So we try to make that very evident in the way we write the music, play the music as well.
Yeah, Shiro and I are pushing 50. So for me, this is definitely a second chance at music. I did a lot when I was younger. And by younger, I still mean adult, in my adult life. So this is another chance for me and like a good first chance for her. But hey, we got these kids in the band too, and they bring a freshness that's needed for the music. And I definitely learned a lot from them. Being an older guy, I learned a lot from them and their energy, their way of handling the learning of the music and the performance and all that. So it's we're hoping that's there in our music too, that we got, certainly the generational span, but also that there's some vibrance and some, what should I say, some learning going on for everybody.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that we are 3 older adults in the band and 3 younger adults in the band. So our crowd schooling is coming from these 2 forces. So we have to be able to take a message in that direction, older and young people. So our other guitar player has also done music like that for a while, and then took a break, work, and now he's back at it. Going to the studio, we are doing our own recording with him. So there's that 2 forces that is very strong, and we work well together. So we carry the messages in those 2 worlds, the older and the younger, and we meet together, and really it makes it really very, very unique.
Sure. Well, what really led me to the project could have come at any time, because Shiro and I are married, of course, so we've always wanted to do this together. But yeah, my history, excuse me, is I grew up playing music, learned to play guitar at a young age, started playing drums and lead things, played with high school bands and all, the usual story. And then, let's see, in my early 20s, I got with a top 40 band that toured around the western states, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, California. Did a lot of work in clubs and casinos, just playing cover music and other people's stuff. And so that's okay. But then we got a chance to go with the Department of Defense and play overseas on the military bases. They used to call them USO tours. Now they're called DOD, Department of Defense tours. And so that really opened my eyes. Although, playing other people's stuff and playing for a kind of a captive audience when you're playing for soldiers and all. And of course, they're going to love it because it's a little bit of home for them that they can hear. I just learned a lot. How do you adapt when you're on the road? How do you adapt with your bandmates and to different audiences that are out there? And then, when we were kind of what they call out on the economy, when you're out there in these other countries, I was both around the Mediterranean countries and then in the Asia Pacific. What is there that's there for you to know? What do you need to be learning about the world that's really not so far away from you. And that, that kind of opened my eyes to a lot of things, changed my music for sure. And, kind of as a result, I quit that band and wanted to do my own thing. Then family came, other things came around. I kind of changed my career, didn't do too much in music for a long time, except for maybe playing in the church and these kinds of things. And then have just come back to it with my wife and family because the time is right. And hey, why not? Why not have it be the right time? Something to not retire into, but grow into as I get older.
One of my all-time favorite oldie, I don't want to call him oldie because it's 67 performing live shows, touring. He just got done with a tour in America, and now he's touring Africa, and I think they'll be heading to UK later. And around 67, he's still doing it. Matt and I drew a lot of our strength from this artist. It's Oliver Tuku. If you haven't had this guy say or speak, you're missing out. His personality and the approach and the messages to young and old people just touches me really big. So that's one of our favorite artists.
And his music's all going to be in the languages of Zimbabwe and Southern Africa, but
some Swahili in it.
Yes, it'll come across real well. But just look up Tuku music, Tuku music, and you can get a whole lot of listening done from this guy.
And there are other artists from Africa that I listen to, like Papa Weber, who does more like Tutu music, which is really popular in Kenya. And there's a lot of other younger artists that I'm really detached from because I've been here for a while. But and then Miriam Makeba, my very first song that I wanted to do when we started doing music was Tata Tata, just because her deep voice and her want to do this for the people is so present in her performances. These were done like in 1960s.
Yeah, 60s, 70s. Miriam Makeba was even exiled for a long time.
Yeah.
She couldn't, perform in her own country. And other South Africans, anything's really good, but the Mahatela Queens, you got to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
What they call the Kwanga music. I can't say it right. The Kwanga. It's a pulling together of a lot of different styles, and the beats are just very rich. You can't help yourself from moving to that stuff, or else you just don't have a body if you don't move to that. So, who else do we?
I also like Thomas Kapsuna, who is also a Zimbabwean, and I find they do a lot of that because they are older people who are still keeping up on the rhythm. They haven't abused their bodies through the music. They've kept it real, and they've sent messages to the government, to the people, and they stood up by their messages. Those are the people I look up to. One of my recent additions to my music recently is, her name is Kijo, and I have to look up her real name on Facebook, but she's now the ambassador for UNICEF. And Kijo is West Africa. Her name is Angelique Kijo.
She's been around for a while.
She's been around for a while too, but yeah, and she also has those messages of peace, of children, of caring, and I think she is based in the UK, but she's such a strong woman, and I think I look up to people like that. And then there's my upbringing. I grew up doing music around the fire with my mother. We would sing all night long. On those bright moons, we'd stay up until past midnight singing around the fire outside with my sisters and my brothers. And at that time, we were singing Christian songs. But the messages were so strong that we just wanted to keep singing. So I did a lot of music as a young girl in church, and I also did a lot of traditional dancing, which makes me want to dance anytime there's a good piece of music playing around me. I can't stop moving. Traditional music is very strong. So there's all that put together, and then, very rhythmic music from the different African traditions. If you go to Western Kenya, that's a different style. If you go to Mombasa, the coast, that's kind of what we call Tarab. And then if you go to Tarab, which is influenced by the Portuguese and the Arabic languages, so we call it Tarab music. You'd hear some of that if you listen to something from Middle East. And then if you go to the slopes of Mount Kenya, it's a totally different type of music,
The thing is, in Kenya and then in most countries, I'd probably say all countries in Africa, it'd be like the names of the beats. I don't know them all, but in a lot of Latin music, when you got names for different beats, and it means a lot to call something that beat. And there's a richness. There might be a lot of variations on the beat, but there's a richness, and in order to tell the story, you have to know that beat. So in Kenya, at least, if not all countries, in Africa, the language, it's not just dialect. The language of that area is going to say something. The rhythms that are particular to the songs are going to say something, and you don't have to have grown up to appreciate them, but you will know if you grew up with it. You're going to know what these things are all about, and know the stories.
One of the most inspiring stories that made Matt and I want to do this is working for Paul Simon and the Graceland tour. If you haven't watched that, I think you want to check it out. It's Paul Simon Graceland.
Yeah, typical. At that point in his career, he was almost washed up. I mean, he was known, of course, because he's a hero to so many people who love his music and all that. But he had bombed on his last record and was looking for something new. And all he did was review a tape that he just listened to all the time, and it was of a South African group, and that sparked a whole turn in his career, and also, kind of created a movement, not him alone, but all the people he worked with. And so, that was a big thing for us to kind of discover, not just hearing those tunes that we've heard again and again on Graceland, but to see the process and what happened and realize, hey, there were a whole lot more people involved than we knew about.
And also there's also another interesting piece that even made us more stronger. We watched Bella Fleck, is that his name?
Yeah, Bella Fleck, banjo player.
Oh, very interesting story.
I don't know what country, I don't know where he comes from, but banjo player does everything from bluegrass to pretty progressive jazz fusion stuff. But he went to find the roots of the banjo, and there's a movie he did, Throw Down Your Heart, where he takes the banjo to Africa, American style banjo to Africa, and then finds out, well, the banjo is really not just an American instrument. There's stuff going on there that feeds into everything that he does. And so without knowing, he kind of discovered all these things that he could do naturally with his instrument. But people have been doing that for thousands of years. So a lot of influences that we have when we listen to, and we always think about when we're writing music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so the album that you're working on is going to call, it's called Mwanzo wa Safari, which means the beginning of the journeys. And the anticipated release for the album is end of October, beginning of November. We've been working really hard throughout the summer to get the album together. Yeah, it's about 8 to 9 tracks. And we are hoping that we can have that done out to the people to enjoy and download and buy and use it for whatever use they need to use it for. And but for now, we have our 2 singles out, Umama and Sinamali, which are available in our Bandcamp page. That is, let me give that to you. It's available at www.mathegazziafrica.bandcamp.com. That's where you get our music. You can also find our music up on Facebook as well. That's Mathegazzi Band on Facebook. We are also can be found on Twitter as Mathegazzi. Follow us on Twitter. We do ask people to like us on Facebook. We hang out on Facebook a lot. And if you don't use Facebook or Twitter, we ask you to visit our website at www.mathegazziBand.com. And so now we don't have any shows booked because we have concentrated really hard on putting together this album. Because everybody has been asking us, where can we get your music? Where can we get your music? So we feel that we really got to get our music out to the people. But definitely by the holidays, all this music will be available. But we will be posting all our shows on our Facebook and on our website. As we book as we go right now because of the recording. We just got done doing one show last week at Silvertech Technical College up in Lakewood. So we are booking. We are constantly booking. We have people looking for us. So we haven't put out anything yet because we do want to finish the album. So again, they can also like me personally on Facebook. I like having friends. So if you want to be my friend, please send me a friend invite. My name is Mathew Kariuki Mcgee Akashiro. So you can find me on Facebook, and you can also find Mathew Mcgee on Facebook. And we like to have friends, so join us. Yeah, everybody is welcome to join in this journey of our music. Buy our music and set our voice out there, and like our music. But I want to, before we close out, I want to just maybe take a minute to thank my bandmates who, without them, this cannot be possible. You know, we have my daughter, Elisa Mcgee, who plays piano for us, who has been playing piano since she was 4 years old. A very talented young lady, going to school and playing in 2 bands. And then her boyfriend, Nakota Doris, the youngest member of the band, only turned 16. And has been playing music since he was 10 years old. He brings a lot of talent to the table. My best friend, Mathew Mcgee, who writes the music with me and plays the bass and supports me on the vocals. And our second guitar is Frederick Ward, a former work called the Jefferson State College, now a recording artist and also studio where we bring all our mastering of the songs. And I cannot forget our wonderful hit drum player, Jackson Hagen, who is no longer with us now, but really, really brought in a lot of effort to our recording and to our shows that we did around Valencia for the last 1 year. So there's a lot of work being done. And right now, I want to just say thank you to one of our other colleagues who just joined us to help us with the recording. His name is Carl. He's filling in while we look for a drummer. So, yeah, I just can't forget to thank those band members, guys. And the bigger music to our fans and the world out there is we are all in this together. And I do believe that another popular African proverb that if you want to go far, we have to go together. No one person can do this alone. You know, we are living in a world that is torn and that needs voices from all corners. So bring out your voice, 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 bring out your voice.
Se mira con las manos y se toca con los ojos.
Veo.
¿Qué ves?
¿Qué miran las niñas de tus ojos?
Color,
Forma,
vacíos
imagen.
y texto en Veo.
El primer museo virtual lo escucha y lo ve a la 1 de la tarde, sábados alternos por Bonita Radio, en línea con tu mundo.
Todo lo que hago lo hago por ti. Es que tú me sacas lo mejor de mí. Soy todo lo que soy, porque tú eres todo lo que quiero por ti.
Hola Puerto Rico, te habla René de Calle 13 y vengo a decirte que amar no es controlar, no es golpear, no es obligar. Amar es respetar y dejar ir cuando llega la hora de decir se acabó. Amar a una mujer es quererla feliz aunque no estés junto a ella. Si has pensado en hacerle daño a tu pareja o expareja, detente y piensa, usa la cabeza, usa el casco, busca ayuda, habla con alguien, pon distancia, protégela y protégete. Abraza la vida y sea un hombre que ama de verdad. El amor no mata, no agrede, no controla. El verdadero amor libera.
Únete a Proyecto Matria, Prensa Comunitaria y esta estación. Y di no a la violencia machista. Que no muera una mujer más.
Por ti, todo lo que hago lo hago por ti. Es que tú me sacas lo mejor de mí.
Estamos en una nueva edición del programa RePicando, que se transmite todos los sábados de 3 a 4 de la tarde a través de Bonita Radio. Y recuerde que somos Bonita Radio en Puerto Rico
y en el mundo.
Y que usted nos puede seguir a través de
bonitaradio.net o en YouTube Bonita Radio.
Bueno, le damos las gracias a todas esas personas que nos han sintonizado en esta edición y le invitamos a que no dejen de sintonizarnos en las próximas ediciones, pues porque tenemos muy buenos invitados, ¿verdad? Muy buenas sorpresas para ustedes. Le damos las gracias a nuestros técnicos, Marcel e Iris, y gracias a todos ustedes por siempre estar en sintonía.
Y la ayuda de nuestro compañero también, que nos ayudó en esta tarde, a Dani Medina o Om Nativo.
Bueno, muchas gracias.
Somos Bonita Radio. Síguenos en youtube.tv /channel Bonita Radio, en bonitaradio.net, facebook.com/Bonita Radio y en Twitter, Bonita-Radio.